Well, hello everybody. I'm Gutzler Man, and thank you for joining me today. This is a very special episode. This happens to be a Halloween episode. So tonight I'm going to be coming back to this very same graveyard, and we're going to be filming live here, and we're going to be going over 3 verses that has to deal with ghosts and all those legends like that. So please join me tonight when I have a happy Halloween special. All right, everybody. I'll see you later. I'll see you tonight. Bye-bye. So I am here at a local cemetery tonight, and we are doing, like I said, a special Halloween edition episode. So let's just dive right in. Some of the verses that we're going to be looking at is Hebrews 9 verse 27, Mark 5 verses 1 through 20, and Matthew 12 verse 22, with a very special verse at the very end that kind of claims it up, that says basically you don't have to get possessed. You can be in eternal life forever. Alright, so let's just go walking around while we talk. The first thing that I would like to talk about is Mark 5 verses 1 through 20. Verse 5 verses 1. Mark 5 verses 1 through 20. I wrote down a paper so I'd have it all up here. Okay, so first we're going to come to verse 1. And it says, "And they came over into the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs. And no man could bound him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked under by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. And always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him. He cried with a loud voice and said, What have I do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send him away out of the country. Nor was there nigh into mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all of the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. And the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down the steep place into the sea, and they were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled, and told in the city and in the country, and went out see what it was done. And they came to Jesus, and see him not was possessed with the devil, and had the legion, sitting and clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they saw it, and they that saw it told them how to befell to him, and was possessed with the devil, and also conjuring the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of the coast. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but saith unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and hath had compassion on thee. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, and all men did marvel. And I do have to apologize. This apparently is like the King James version, I assume, on here with all the thou arts. I tried to get a simpler version, but so we added the little light feature on there, so that is good. So anyway, the next thing that I would like to read is Matthew 12:22. Matthew 12:22. So we're going to go back to Matthew 12. Matthew 12. And then we're going to go to verse 22, which is another verse talking about that. And this is what Matthew 12 verse 22 says. And then he was brought into him one possessed with the devil, blind and dumb, and he was healed him. And he healed him, is so much that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. And then verse 23 below it says, And all the people were amazed and said, Is not this the son of David? Talking about Jesus, because Jesus is from David's bloodline. So we learn here that in another verse that there was someone that was brought to Jesus that was blind and dumb. Basically, I guess what this dumb means is that had autism or something mentally wrong with him on top of being blind. Then Jesus healed him, and he was not mentally distressed, and he was not blind. He could see. And everyone else that saw Jesus do this said, this has to be the son. This has to be from the bloodline of David. So, going up to Hebrews 9, verse 27. So we're going to go to Hebrews 9, verse 27. Hebrews 9, verse 27 says, And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this judgment. So, this begs the question, since evil spirits can come into this world, there's been some confusion that I have heard people talk about, that yes, they see evil spirits, but they also think that they see loved ones who have died and came back. And the Bible clearly states right here that once you die, you stay dead. You cannot come back. I'll read it again. And is it appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment? And the judgment is either you get appointed heaven or you get appointed hell for eternal life. Now I'm not really sure if you go into resting and then when Jesus comes back for the second coming you'll be judged, or if you automatically go straight to judgment. I'm trying to study that right now myself. But this right here states that, and I also heard, and this is going into the comment I was just about to say, is that when you see a spirit, when you go to a house, when you go ghost hunting, and you look at spirits, is probably not dead loved ones that are coming back, but the evil spirits. So we heard that evil spirits can possess a person. They can also roam this earth, but once you die, you fall into a sleep and you get judged at that point. Also talking about Lazarus and the rich man. The rich man going, Lazarus is a beggar in front of Lazarus' gates. Lazarus was the rich man. The poor man died. So did the rich man. The rich man died, went to Hades, And he saw Abraham off in the distance, that story, and then called upon Abraham, please let me dip my finger in water. Or he asked, I believe it was, Abraham, dip your finger in water and let me just suck it off the end of your finger so I could get some relief from this torment. And then he saw how that there was a real hell, so let me go up and talk to my friends about it. Abraham's like, they won't even believe you if you came back from the dead and said it. If they're not going to believe, they're not going to believe. So that's another story, which ties into, I believe that once a human dies, their body goes to earth and their spirit goes one or two places, and we know about that. And now, to kind of end this, because I know it's getting too dark, is the final verse that I wanted to confirm everything that I was talking about is, and maybe you've guessed it, John 3:16. And I know that everybody knows what that is, but we're going to go to John 3:16, and we're going to read it here. John 3, verse 16. And I repeat, here's what it says. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So that proves that the spirit that's in with us, even though the human body dies to the earth, the human spirit has eternal life. Whoever believes and gives his life over to Christ will go to heaven and live forever. So, to talk about this Halloween, I hope everybody has a happy Halloween this year. Please stay safe. Whatever you do, you go out, you go to parties, you get up, get together with some friends, whatever it is that you do, please stay safe. Love God, love one another. And until next time, I am Gutzler Man, and peace. I'm out.